Hello everyone, I am A376 and you saw the title of this video. I am saying goodbye to my Minecraft world. Now, a few things to get out of the way before I start this world tour. Number one, this is actually the second take that I'm doing of this world tour. I've already recorded one where I go through everything in this world. Unfortunately, I really fucked up the audio balancing in that one. It's really bad. There are whole sections of the video where you cannot hear my voice. And just as an example to show how bad it is, I'm going to play a clip from the previous recording. Now, headphone warning for anybody wearing headphones because it is really loud. It's really loud, oh my god. I really hope that doesn't mess with my voice. I hope that I can hear me over music. Anyway, so this is the rest of this sort of spawn area. Obviously, as you can tell, that video is basically unwatchable. So I'm going to re-record the world tour and do my best to actually make my voice audible this time. The other thing that I should say is that the reason I am doing this world tour and the reason I'm abandoning this world is because the world is actually, I lost access to it, and then when I lost access to it, I started a new world, and by the time that I recovered this world, I've already felt pretty committed to my new world. There's a bunch of things that I have issues with this world, so I felt like starting anew wasn't too big of a deal because there are a couple of mistakes I think I made with this world that I'm happy to rectify in my new world. But what I didn't know when I was recording the previous world tour was that in the process of recovery, this world actually got a little bit corrupted. So in the previous recording, there were sections where I went, all right, I'm going to show you this build now. And then when I went to the build, it was just gone. It was just not there. The world was just, that section of the world was just reset. And in that recording, you got my live reaction to finding out that certain sections of the world were just not there. So unfortunately, in this recording, that won't happen because I know which parts of the world are missing. So when I get to that part of the world, I'm probably going to play the clip from the previous recording just to show you my live reaction to finding out that certain builds that I made are just gone. Now, that is of course assuming that those sections of the recording are audible and actually are actually watchable. So, yeah, I think that my live reaction to seeing certain parts of my world missing are worth keeping. So I'm gonna edit those in. Anyway, without further ado, let's go to bed, and then I'm going to start my world tour. So, this is beta 1.7.3. That's the version of Minecraft that I'm playing this on. It's the first version of Minecraft that I've been able to commit to for longer than a couple of weeks. It's really good. It's a really basic version, but I really enjoy it. And I played this world for, I think, a year and 9 months, maybe. So what you're about to see is a year and 9 months worth of stuff. I'm not going to show the builds in chronological order of when I built them. I'm probably going to show everything in a more natural order. And I'm going to start out with the first build that I made, and that is this house. So as you can see, it's a bit big and very basic. For some reason, I have a tendency to make houses quite a lot larger than they really need to be. Like, especially this little alleyway is a bit, like, liminal and strange. But, considering this is my first build in this version, I was still figuring out stuff like the fact that stairs are weird in this version compared to what I'm used to. The fact that, you know, logs can't be placed sideways, stuff like that. So, for a first build ever, I think it's not too bad. Inside, you're gonna find, like, very typical Minecraft house stuff. Random bookshelves for decoration, like this really strangely sized table. I mean, compared to how big it is to me. It's just... the scale is completely off. We have this build, which I think is supposed to be a wardrobe. So imagine there are clothes hanging here. We have our classic 8 furnaces on top of one another, because, you know, one furnace just isn't enough. And we have a bed, which with a very large pillow to prevent nightmares from happening, because in this version there's like a weird glitch where monsters will spawn next to your bed if you don't place it in a specific way. And we have this wardrobe thing. This is supposed to kind of be a bedside table, I guess. And then these 2 chests, we just have a clock and a bunch of iron stuff that I used up. Anyway, heading upstairs, this is my storage room. This is one of the reasons that I wasn't too miffed about losing this world, because in the new one, I have a far better storage facility. This is really, really unorganized. It's very basic. This is the storage that I started out with and the storage I kept using for the rest of my playthrough. As you can see, it's really messy. It doesn't really make much sense. Why is the glass so far away from the sand? Why do I have so much dirt? Why do I have, I don't know, why do I have, for example, arrows in this one, but also arrows in this one? What even is a scavenge chest? It doesn't make any sense. One of these chests just says dog-ass dog shit. I think it's supposed to be a rubbish bin. So yeah, it's not the best storage facility. In fact, it's probably on the worst end of storage facilities that you can build in Minecraft. So yeah, but you know, I think you can forgive me considering I am lazy, and this is basically how I organize stuff in real life. So let's just quickly grab a few basic tools before heading out. Do I have a shovel? I'll grab a stone shovel, whatever. And let's just get some food. Alright. So this is my house. First build that I made in this version. That goes down to just a cave. There's not even worth going down there. It's literally just a cave. Nothing interesting there. And yeah. So, you know, it could be better. It could be a lot better. And in fact, it does get a lot better. This is literally the bare minimum of what a Minecraft house can be. Strangely shaped. It's very large. It's built on this kind of dugout hill section, which was very unnecessary because going up there's so much more space that I could have built this on. But you know what? I still like it. It was homely. It was mine. And yeah. Anyway, turning around, I'm probably just going to show one of the more recent builds, kind of to show the progression of where I went from this. And that is up this hill, we have this. This right here is supposed to be the museum. As you can see, it's kind of a mansion sort of thing built into the side of a cliff. I really like the way it's shaped. I think the block palette is really, really nice. I think that every single bit of space is used really well. It's like really well balanced. I mean, really just compare how this looks compared to this. I mean, the difference is clear, right? Like, I got better at building in this version. Unfortunately, the interior is unfinished. So when I last played on this world, I had actually finished the interior and made it look really nice. But unfortunately, upon losing it, the save file that I recovered was an earlier one before I actually finished this interior. So imagine there's a carpeted floor on the ground, that the walls are nice and colorful, and that these signs are in a longer timeline. Because as a museum, this is supposed to be like a timeline of events of this world's progression, and this is supposed to be a to-do list of things that I wanted to build. Now, this timeline does not begin at the beginning of when I made the world. I think like for example, May 7th is about a year after I started building. This was about the time that I realized that, hold on, I should probably start recording stuff for this world just in case something happens to it. And lo and behold, something did happen to it. And yeah, now I have this really incomplete timeline that ends before But that ends a lot earlier than I actually ended the world. It went on for a bit more after this. The beginning of the world is a bit further along than May 7th. But yeah, I'm not going to read out these signs because you're gonna see all of these builds in this video anyway. Feel free to pause and take a look at them, just as a little sneak peek for what's gonna happen. And this here is the to-do list. So this is all the stuff that I was planning to build in the world eventually and never got to. We have, again, I'm just going to show this here. I'm not going to read everything. If you want to read this, you can pause and take a gander. The only thing that I'll say here is this building showing off my poetry thing. I think I intend either two things with this. One, I haven't written any poetry since I was in high school, and I don't think any of that is really worth putting in a Minecraft world. I think maybe I was thinking like sign poetry, trying to figure out how you could structure a poem using this sort of sign format. But you know, that never went anywhere, which is a shame, and it probably would be an interesting experiment at some point in the future. So, without further ado, we shall continue. So, over here, we are going a bit back in time. I think this is still very early on in this world's development. This right here is the village of Tarren Ferry. Technically, that museum and that building over there are also part of Tarren Ferry. It's named after a village in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. One of the things I did for this world was name things after fantasy media that I enjoyed. So this over here is named after the Wheel of Time. Kind of going over here, this simple bridge over a little, I guess, river that was, or rivulet, a little piece of water that was very difficult to build because water physics in this game are strange. Every single one of these buildings is essentially a copy of my building, but a bit smaller. The interiors aren't even really worth showing that much, because they really are more of the same, just on a smaller, more reasonable scale. As you can see, the attic doesn't even have any chests in it. These buildings are purely decorative. And in some ways, they're even a little bit abandoned, because I mean, this one has a trampled farm, as you can see here. Yeah, and then the path goes around this sort of sandy area towards more buildings. So yeah, this is, I guess, the residential area of Tarren Ferry. Tarren Ferry also contains right there, that's the Lord's Manor. Just get around this tree. That's the Lord's Manor. That's where the Lord of Tarren Ferry lives. This is the marketplace. This is where all the merchants from the sea come in to sell their stuff. Tarren Ferry also has a farming section for sugarcane, for wheat, and a windmill, all of which you will see in more detail in due time. Up these stairs, you will see there is also a bit of a temple there, like an old temple, and a wizard's tower over there. There's also something on the other side of that bridge, which you will see in a moment. And I think going around here, there's obviously the docks, which you've already seen, but then to the right of them, there is a lighthouse. And thank you for setting, Mr. Sun, because now you get to see the big glowstone on top of the lighthouse. And of course, next to the lighthouse, we have a very anachronistic volleyball court and parasol. I guess let's start out from this side. We'll start out from here. So this is the lighthouse. This is, I think, one of the more recent builds. In fact, I think you saw in the museum the date that I built it on. The interior has a checkered floor, but then after a spiral staircase, it becomes a wooden floor with a simple table design here. Again, we have the same wardrobe thing going on. Going up here, we have the top of the lighthouse. Shows the rest of the village. This is what it looks like at night. Quite a bit of lighting, but not too much. I don't like covering everything. I don't like covering every single surface in light. I think it makes everything look bad. And then we have the wilderness going on like that. Yeah. You'll see the glowstone is leading somewhere there. You'll see where that leads in a second. Maybe not in a second, actually. That'll probably be one of the last things I show. So this is the lighthouse. I think almost one of the last builds that we added to Taren Ferry. I don't know who we is, that I added to Taren Ferry. Very, very kind of basic lighthouse. Not the classic red and white design that you associate with lighthouses, I think. I went for something a bit older here. Not as modern. Oh, that's a creeper. Which I only made the contrast with this really modern beach stuff a lot funnier. So, going from the lighthouse along the beach, we have the harbor. We just got some really basic docks here. We have just a little house. Not even a house, more of a hut. Doesn't have anything in it. I guess the harbor master who lives here sleeps on the floor. And then, yeah, this dock right here is kind of useless. I don't really know who would swim through this section to park their boat here. But you know, it's all decorative. Everything here is decorative. There's no such thing as as a useful Minecraft build that isn't a farm of some kind. Anyway, going up this hill that's looking over the market and the rest of Taren Ferry, we have the Lord's Manor. You can probably tell that this is one of the earlier builds. I think I built this right after I finished all of those buildings. This is definitely built before the marketplace, and that's because the marketplace that stands here now used to be a lake. There used to just be a bunch of water here that I then covered up with dirt. Yeah, and let's go into the Lord's Manor. So you'll see here, it's kind of structured with 3 rooms on each floor. To the right here, we have the kitchen. Got some nice plants, some stoves, some empty chests. To the left here, we have a study that, again, looks over the village so that I guess the Lord of the Manor can file paperwork here while looking at his community. And then once he finishes his day of work, he can go out into his nice little garden in the background and enjoy the flowers and the and the decorative jack-o'-lanterns, and take a seat here and look out onto the sea and the beach and whatever, and all the beautiful spiders that hang out on the beach, the big beautiful giant beach spiders. Yeah. Going up, we have a spiral staircase that leads into this room, which is a dining room. Again, we have some stoves here. The servants can put food through this room for the people inside to take it and eat. It's a very large table, a bit cramped, but I think there was really no other way to use this space and place a table here that looked like a table. So yeah, we'll forgive older, or I guess younger me for making this, for not thinking this through. Again, my builds get a little bit more efficient as time goes on. As I said before, this is one of the earlier builds in the world. And to the left here, we have the Lord's bedroom. We have 2 beds. The Lord sleeps with his partner, his wife, his spouse, his whatever the fuck. They're not important. Only the Lord is important. And then, yeah, he has his own library. He has the same kind of wardrobe. Not wardrobe, yeah. The wardrobe? Yeah, same kind of wardrobe design that I have in my own house. So this is where he keeps his clothes that are all invisible, just like mine are. And going upstairs, once again, we have the attic, which is completely empty. So yeah, this is the Lord's Manor. Very basic build, but I think for what it is, it works well. You know, it's not... It looks nice on top of this hill, looking over everything. Over here, we have the Taren Ferry Market. I believe I used every single color of wool that is available in this version. which really impressed me by just how many colors there are. Like, I didn't expect there to be lime or light blue, for example, or even pink, really. Yeah, but every single stall here is basically identical. There's nothing inside the chests. This is just kind of a facsimile of a marketplace, in the same way that everything in Minecraft is a facsimile of a real thing. Yeah, it's a very, very basic build. As I said before, this used to be a lake, so I just filled out the whole lake with dirt. In fact, if I dig down, you'll see that I didn't place like one layer of dirt on top of it. I literally just filled it with dirt. And the reason for that is because I had a lot of dirt left over after terraforming that section for my house and some other sections of this build, so I needed to use it for something. Over here, we have the windmill, which is looking over the sugar canes and the wheat fields. Now, over there is the cactus farm, which we'll get to in a second. I really like the windmill. The actual, I guess, tower portion of it is super duper basic, but I really, really think that the propeller makes it. I'm super happy with how this propeller turned out. It almost looks like it's in motion, even though it's completely still. I'm really impressed that I pulled that off. Like, that propeller looks fucking great. Stepping inside of the windmill, these are supposed to be like bags of grain. So imagine the brown bags are filled with grain, which is what the pressure plates are supposed to be. And these are brown bags that are like tied up so you don't see the grain inside them. Stepping up these stairs, we have the grinding mechanism that grinds the grain and turns it into, I guess, flour. This obviously connects straight to the propeller. So propeller spins this, goes down, and then grinds the grain. So yeah, it's a technically kind of functioning windmill. Obviously, there's no such functionality in Minecraft, especially not in this version of Minecraft. But I think making it look believable was pretty fun. Anyway, so yeah, this is the wheat field. The reason it's completely closed off is because I did not know about the fence underneath the farm block trick. So if I walk onto here, it'll all just break. So that's why it's completely fenced off. And then we have the scarecrow, Mr. Scarecrow over here, scaring away the crows that obviously exist in this version of Minecraft. Okay, stepping over here, we have the cactus farm. It's a greenhouse design, because obviously cactuses need heat. Very basic cactus farm. I don't know exactly how many cactuses it gives when you mine everything, but it's enough to get by. Nothing too special about this. Stepping up onto here, we have, to our right, the Spirit of Riches and Wealth. Please bring offering. So stepping up here, we get a nice view of the whole village of all of Tarren Ferry. And then turning this corner, we go into the Temple of the Spirit of Riches and Wealth. So this was kind of... Wait, hold on, we need to give the offering. Let's give some gunpowder. So basically, this was kind of supposed to be my take on this village's religion, I suppose. Again, I know that the name is based off of a village from the Wheel of Time, but nothing else about it is based off of the actual place from the book. I just took the name. That was my philosophy for the rest of the builds. And I figured, you know, we have a marketplace, we have a docks. These people have a market. Might as well say that they worship a spirit of riches and wealth, you know, for good trade and good fortune. Which is why we have this little statue that's holding the riches and wealth of iron, gold, and diamond. You'll notice that the more expensive the block is, the closer he keeps it to his body. So the iron is really far away, the gold is a bit closer to his body, and the diamond is beneath his foot. Because obviously, the richer it is, the stronger he wants to hold on to it. I really like the statue. I think it looks really, really cool. And stepping behind it, we just have a little, I guess, hangout spot. So that if you come here to pray over big money and big gains over this coming financial year, you can then sit down and have a nice cup of water. yeah. So that's the religion of Tarren Ferry. That's basically almost everything in Tarren Ferry that is worth showing for this part of the video. If there is anything that I haven't shown, such as what's behind there, that's because I'll show it later in the video, because I think the order works a little better. On the other side of this bridge, we have the mining outpost. Now, this part of the video was the first time I realized that sections of my world were missing. So I'm just gonna quickly play the clip of what of what that part of the world looks like, because then you get to see my my live reaction to finding out that chunks of my world are missing. To mining outpost, it just goes across here, past the rest of Tarren Ferry, over this lake. There's a connecting section here that I never used. And going all the way here, oh, this isn't right. Huh. Well, would you look at that? There was a mining outpost here. This hill had like a big entrance that went underground. There was a like 2-story brick house here with like full of beds and chests and all this other stuff to make it look like there were miners as in people who mine, just working here. And I guess, oh my god, I guess in recovering this world, I just lost this whole chunk and got reset. Oh, this is so strange. So yeah, so that's what that looked like. It used to look a lot nicer, obviously. So it's very sad that it's all gone. Anyway, I can only sleep at night. Damn it. So yeah, that's most of Tarren Ferry. The next thing that I'll show you will be the Wizard's Tower up there, which will be fun. That's where the real world tour begins. That's where my building skills get a little bit better. Now you might notice that this section of the world might not look like almost 2 years worth of building, and that is because it's true. Wizard's Tower, be respectful. It's technically not part of Tarren Ferry. The wizard does not associate with these peasants. Yeah, one of the, I think, mistakes that I made with this world was that I made everything too far away. So there are a bunch of builds that I have that are kind of disconnected from this. That I really wish were closer. So because that way you would be able to see like everything that I built kind of in one glance. Because now it just looks like, I don't know, like, is this really 2 years worth of stuff? No, it isn't, because I have stuff built elsewhere in the world. And I kind of like having the ability to just look out and see just all of the progress in one section, or at least very close by. Because I think you need to do a bit too much traveling in this world in order to see everything. Anyway, so this is I should actually show you outside. This is the Wizard's Tower. This is kind of my first time texturing, I suppose. Looking up, we see a nice soul sand roof and some snow, simulating Wattle Daub, I suppose. Standing up, we have the nether portal here. And going up the stairs, we have the wizard's, I guess, study. It's got some secret books here, some arcane books, a nice glowstone backlit table, I guess. And I think the soul sand here makes a really cool effect on the roof because it almost looks like it goes up into a void, which I think looks really, really snazzy and really, really cool. Anyway, let's step through the nether portal and go on into the next part of the world. Okay. So, this is the nether dimension that I have in this world. Hold on, I'm gonna go into peaceful for this. There we go. Whoa. I really did not enjoy building in the Nether in this world, which is why that there is basically nothing here except for this cobblestone path. It just leads from Tarren Ferry to the furthest build that I have in this world, which you will see in a second. But yeah, I think maybe in my new world I'll try out building a far more proper Nether dimension, like with fully protected walls and railways and stuff like that, with actual Nether highways. Because for now there's just this really inconvenient and slow Nether pathway that leads into the other part of my world. So I guess I'm going to assume that this part of the video is going to be cut out of the video in the editing process, which means I can say whatever I want here. I can say whatever I want and then I'll remove it. Sorry, there was a turkey in my room. I had to snap its neck. So there we go. This is the Nether portal at the other end of my little cobblestone pathway. This leads to the second section of this world. And that is this hole. Wow, how exciting. This completely unadorned basic hole. Climbing out of the hole, you get a bit of sneak peek of what my build looks like. Anyway, in the museum in Tarren Ferry, you might remember there was a sign that said, "Outhouse hiding Nether portal in Deadbush." This is what I was talking about. Over there is the town of Deadbush, and over here is the Nether portal that accesses it. In order to hide this awkward hole, my idea was to place an outhouse here and to have ladders lead down into the portal, which would have been very funny. Unfortunately, I never got around to it. So let's just quickly leave that pathetic pit in the ground and instead show the second build that I made in this world, the second section. And that is Deadbush. Fun fact about Deadbush, it is the only place in this world which is not named after a fantasy property. It is an original name, and that makes it, I guess, more unique. So, stepping over here, we have the first thing you see in Deadbush, which is the train station. That's what it's called, which is the train station. The train station is modeled after those old like frontier train stations back when the railway industry was just beginning. Got a very basic platform, very basic benches. The interior is also, as you might expect, very basic and bare bones. We have the tickets here. You just climb in, give them like 10 cents or however much train tickets were back in the day, and hop on the train to get somewhere else. Now, this railway section does connect all the way back to Tarren Ferry. It is 5,000 blocks away, so it's very far away, and it does connect straight to Tarren Ferry. Unfortunately, only the cobblestone connects. These railways did not actually go to all the way to Tarren Ferry. I think this part of the railway ends about 1,000 blocks out there. It was kind of a work in progress. Eventually, I wanted to have this railway that connects all the way to Tarren Ferry, but obviously I lost the world before I could let that happen. So for now and forever, the Nether portal in the ground is going to be the only way to access Tarren Ferry from Deadbush, which is very sad. Anyway, so this is the sign that says "Welcome to Deadbush." The population is, of course, plenty. And let's just go in a nice clockwise direction, showing every building here. So to our left, we have the stables for anybody who came on a horse. Again, very large stables. I think it doesn't need to be this big. I kind of have a scale problem when it comes to Minecraft builds. At least this early on in the world, I think. Obviously, horses don't exist, so these pens are kind of just empty. I guess this is where the hay bales are stored. And upstairs in the loft, you will see, oh my god, it's the bags of grain from the windmill. It's the same kind of bag of grain design. I think it's really cool. I think it's really creative. not to you know, pat myself on the back too much for placing a pressure plate on top of a wall block. In the middle of the town, we have the namesake of the town of Deadbush, and that is, of course, the Deadbush. This is the big Deadbush that the town is built around. As you can see, it says "Outlaws Beware," and there are nooses hanging down and some blood on the ground of all the outlaws that the town police have hung. Very, very violent, and you can thank that violence for you can attribute that violence to the sheriff here in the sheriff's office. It's a very scary grey stone building with very, very humane holding cells, obviously. On the ground we have benches, simple, I guess, table for him to do his little interrogations in. This is the sheriff's bookshelf. Every single book here is Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. I don't know why the sheriff is obsessed with that book specifically. I've never read it. It's kind of scared to, considering how much the sheriff likes it. And going upstairs into the sheriff's actual living abode, we have a very bare bones room with like a chair that he sits on to, I guess, ponder all the criminals he's about to punish. A table for him to eat on. Not that he really eats on the table, because if you go inside of his bedroom, you might see some blood on the floor and a bunch of bones in his chest. So, yeah, don't mess with the sheriff. Don't mess with the sheriff. He may or may not be a cannibal. We don't really know what he does with the criminals once he incarcerates them. Some of them have not left the sheriff's office ever since they entered. So, yeah, don't mess around with Deadbush. All right, follow the law in Deadbush. It's not a very not the most friendly town. Anyway, having said that, let's continue. To the left of the sheriff's office, we have the cheap saloon known as Drinks and Booze. Very, very poetically named. So again, very basic interior. We're kind of on the more poor side of Deadbush right now, where everything is more ramshackle and cobbled together. There's some shelves here that are just, imagine the cheapest moonshine and whiskey possible being sold here. We have some just very basic wooden tables with no decoration. Going upstairs, we have a poker table for people to gamble their scant money away in, and of course a balcony for people to look and see the criminals hang on the Deadbush. Although that you can say that about every single balcony in this town. All of them face the Deadbush. So let me just take a quick snooze inside of this house before we continue the world tour. And I guess this is also a great opportunity to introduce you to my dog, which I will do in a second. So this over here is the Eastwood Ranch, obviously named after Clint Eastwood. The well is completely dried out, which is very sad, very sad. The actual ranch itself, or the ranch, I flip-flop between the two pronunciations, I think. The actual ranch itself is very bare bones, but it does have a carpet. It does have a nice green carpet and even a stove next to the furnace. You know, it looks very cool, very advanced. And then to the left, not to the left, to the right of the ranch, we have another stables. So this is, I guess, the barn where all the farm animals are kept, and this is the pasture where they graze on the sand or something. So yeah, same sort of design as the bigger stables at the start of the town. Upstairs we have once again the same grain bag design. And yeah, this is the ranch, the Eastwood Ranch, where the food of Deadbush is made, I suppose. Anyway, so my dog. This is Estraven, that is his name, named after Estraven from The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. He came with me when I went searching for a desert to build Deadbush on. and I have not taken him back to Tarren Ferry. Mostly because dogs can't go through nether portals in this version of the game. So in order to bring him back to Tarren Ferry, I would have to walk all the way back there, all 5,000 blocks. And my plan was to take him with me when I finished the railway. Fortunately, I never finished the railway. So Estraven has just been in here for probably over a year, honestly. He likes it here. He likes the quietness. There's enough bones of cannibalized criminals for him to live on. So he's actually pretty comfy here, I think. I think it fits him really well. Now you might notice this dog kennel, kind of breaking the order here for a bit, but that's fine. I think this is a very natural way to continue the story of Estraven. You might see this dog kennel here for a dog named Westraven. Now Westraven is the Wild West version of Estraven, and how Westraven came to be was when I was exploring with Estraven for a desert, my game crashed. And when I loaded back into the game, I had 2 dogs. Estraven just cloned himself while I was gone, I guess. And so I decided to just, okay, take Estraven's clone, make him a permanent resident of Deadbush, and name him Westraven. So this is Westraven. Obviously, he is exactly like Estraven in every way. Honestly, he might even be Estraven, and that might be Westraven. I have no idea. They're the exact same dog. And they both love it here. They both love Deadbush. They're the only residents in Deadbush. They may have eaten everyone. I don't know. While I was gone, I didn't really come here often to feed them. Anyway, with that out of the way, this is the church for Deadbush. It's a very basic kind of frontier church design. Going inside, we have a very spacious pew section, I think. These are, considering how big or long pews tend to be in... Is pew the right word for the benches in a church? I'm just going to call them benches for now. Considering how large or long benches tend to be in churches, these are actually really strangely small, I think. But, whatever. There's a lectern up here for the priest of Deadbush to talk about how, you know, how they should praise the Deadbush or something. And to the left of the church, we have the cemetery. Now, this is where everybody... now, none of these cemeteries actually have people underneath them. And that is obviously because the sheriff ate them all. There's still some more space here for, I guess, 1 or 2 more criminals to be quote-unquote buried. And then for the sheriff to dig them up and eat them. Yeah. It's very, very fun lore in this place, I suppose. Going away from the church, we have the Deadbush Bank. There is an actual bank in this town, which is, you know, might surprise some people considering that nobody lives here. Yeah, I'm actually really proud of the interior of the bank. I think it looks really, really nice. I think the space is used really, really well. I like the little cashier booths here for people to take out money or borrow money or stuff like that. I also like that it's completely lit without any torches. You might have noticed that I tend to avoid using torches and try to light things up with other things, mostly because I think torches are kind of ugly in rune builds more often than not. So I think this is one of the spaces where it's well lit despite the fact that there were no torches, and that the fact that there were no torches isn't really distracting. Obviously, on the back here we have spaces for the accounting books and for a quick save here, and then underneath the room we have the bank vaults. The bank vaults with all of the money. There's a secret vault in there that you can open with this lever, but nothing is really in there, so there's no point looking in there. Yeah, I think it looks really cool. It's been robbed a couple of times, obviously, and obviously everybody who has robbed them was cannibalized by the sheriff. That's just how it goes in Deadbush. You get the gist. That's just how things are done here. And yeah, it's a very nice kind of bank. It's also, I also just realized that it's it's made out of oak instead of spruce. I didn't realize that. Huh. Okay. I mean, I'm sure when I was building it, I made this choice with intention, like what to make these houses out of different bits of wood. I probably did it for variety, but now that it's probably been over a year since I've built all of this. I don't remember exactly why I made it this way very well. This is the upstairs of the bank. I think this is probably one of my favorite interiors in Deadbush. I think that as a kitchen, this looks really, really natural, I think, considering, you know, Minecraft doesn't have very many blocks that look like kitchen blocks, so I think I got really creative here, especially with this pantry thing. I think that looks really nice. Here we have just a very cramped kind of dining room, and of course the balcony that looks over all the hanging criminals on the Deadbush. And then to the right here we have the beds, because the bankers, I guess, sleep together as well as work together. So, to the left of the bank, we have the crown jewel of Deadbush, the Deadbush Saloon. This is the contrast to that cheap saloon over there, Drinks and Booze, as it is called. This is a real saloon. It's real fancy. It's real nice. We got beautiful carpeted floors. We have a large open space. We have a beautiful professional bar here with all sorts of deluxe and luxurious alcohols and whiskeys. That's all. This is actually whiskey. You know, the private room over here with red carpet, so for any high rollers who just want to poke a table for themselves, any big oil magnates and is it called magnates? Oil magnates? Any big money people go in here to play poker with each other. And then all the other people stay out in here. Going upstairs along this spiral staircase, we have the balcony, some more tables here. And of course, you can rent out rooms for you to sleep in for any travelers who come here on the Deadbush line to take a bit of a snooze during their travels. And arguably, this might be one of the best views of Deadbush. I mean, this balcony is really huge. You kind of get a really nice view of everything here. And yeah, that's the Deadbush Saloon. I remember it being very expensive to build because bricks are hard to come by in this version. So collecting all the clay for these bricks was very tedious, and yeah, this was all this section of the town took a really long time to build because I just walked around and collected all of the clay. This is the final building of Deadbush. This is the Deadbush General Store. As you might notice, it is right next to the entrance for Deadbush, because obviously as soon as you come in here, we want to entice you to buy things. Yep. This is the Deadbush General Store. The shelves here, imagine they're stocked with a bunch of general items, as you might expect for a general store to be. There are bookshelves here. Now, as requested by the sheriff, every single book here that is sold is Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. Again, the sheriff just loves that book. Not sure exactly why. Not sure if that's the reason he cannibalized all the criminals. Again, I've never read it. And upstairs of the general store, we have the most cramped interior in Deadbush. This is, I think, almost every block here is being used by something. I think maybe this section of the room is perhaps the only block with actual air in it, and everything else is taken up by signs and pressure plates and all that stuff. So it's very cramped, but at the same time, I think it actually communicates what it's supposed to be quite well. And these are shelves, this is a stove, there's a little table, this is a little, like, a storage area with a little desk, there's the balcony. This is actually a really nice view of Deadbush as well. I don't think there's a single poorly placed balcony in this town. I think every single balcony has a nice view. Yeah, over here we have the general store manager's bedroom. Again, every single book here, Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. He did have different books here, the general store manager. He did have different books here. And then the sheriff threatened to hang him. So, yeah. That's just how it goes in Deadbush. That's just how it goes in Deadbush. So, yeah. So that is Deadbush. It is the second build, or the second large build that I made in this world. I'm really proud of it. It took a long while. It's very far away. It's kind of out of the way. It's hard to get to. But considering that, I think it works really well. I'm really proud of Deadbush as a frontier town. I think it looks really cool. Now, there was another build over in that direction. I have since discovered that it has disappeared from my world on account of the corruption. So I'm just going to quickly play the clip where I discover that, and then we'll get back to the world tour. Okay. There was a creeper hole here, a patched up creeper hole, but the ground definitely did not look like that. I think. Okay, there's a broken tree here. That's not good. Okay, I think this build got deleted. I think this build might have gotten deleted. Yep, yeah, it definitely did get deleted. There was, yeah, absolutely. Well, damn it. I'll go up just to see if anything survived of it. Yeah, okay. So basically, okay, I'll paint you a visual picture in your brain with my words. There used to be a broken down, ruined, I guess, entryway here, and then kind of a path that goes up this hill. Yeah, this has been completely fucked. Yeah, there used to be a path that goes up this hill, though it was cobbled with glowstone, actually, so that if you came to in the night, you would be able to follow it. And then up here, there were none of these trees. Wait, no, never mind, there was a tree here. This tree was here. And then there was like a little gravesite here. There were like 3 graves lining, and then if you came here at sunset, you could see the sun setting in front of the graves. Again, I'm pretty sure one of my older videos on this channel actually shows this build, so a record of it has not been lost. But it's just not there. So, oh man. Well, let's head back. So yeah, so that's what it was. Wasn't anything large. Kind of supposed to be an Easter egg that then disappeared. And yeah. You know, I just realized this actually... Hold on a minute. This actually looks really cool. I've been going through this nether road like for a year now. And I only just realized how cool this view looks. God damn, look, this is awesome. Oh my god. It's the Ghast's fault. I wasn't able to enjoy this really sick view because of the Ghast's shooting fireballs at me. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Anyway. There are just 2 things for me to show now in this world. After Deadbush, I think we have probably my most ambitious and probably my favorite build on this world. It's kind of the not to build up too much hype, but I'd say that it's probably the magnum opus of this world. So get excited, get excited. I think this is kind of the crown jewel of my journey on this world, of my building attempts. All right. So, we are back at the Wizard Tower over Tarren Ferry. Before I show that build, I'll give you a bit of lore, a bit of a small little story. The project that I was working on before I lost access to this world was over there. You'll see a section of the river that has been blocked up by dirt. Now, when I lost this world, the actual foundation of the ground was completed. So I had filled out this entire river, and I had also dug out that entire hill, right? This whole section was just a huge flat area. And the thing I was going to build here was a nuclear power plant. My idea was to take this really quaint and cozy, picturesque view of this nice little village and just absolutely ruin it with this disgusting, polluting, like gray and grimy power plant just glooming in the sky and billowing smoke into the air. That was my idea. Unfortunately, I lost the world before I could build that. I even considered maybe finishing it, but unfortunately, I'm not I'm not going to dig out this whole hill again and fill out this whole river once again. Not river, this whole lake once again, because that took a really long time, and that's not time that I'm about to waste again. So yeah, that was that was my next build. I think I even planned to put mob farms into each of the power. I was planning to make two chimneys, those really big like chimneys that you see in nuclear power plants, and I was planning to put mob farms there, and that was going to be my mob farm because I still don't have a mob farm in this world. But you know, that plan fell through, and oh well, stuff happens. Stuff happens. Uh, it's a bit of a shame because I do think just having a big shameless nuclear power plant next to all of this would have been really funny. But you know, it is what it is. Okay, let us now go to the build over there that I didn't show on my last Taran Ferry tour. That is, of course, the railway station. So, that right there, that building, is the train station that connects all the way to Deadbush. So you saw the end of the line when we were at Deadbush. Now you see the beginning of the line up here. There's a sign that says Taran Ferry Station. Over here, this is the building. Obviously, extremely reminiscent of the Lord's Manor. Same sort of design all around. Oh, I did not need to place a minecart here. How convenient. And yeah, so this is our line of the railway station. And this obviously does not connect all the way to Deadbush. Again, the cobblestone connects. This cobblestone pathway does go all the way to Deadbush, but the railway on top of it ends, I think, maybe 1,000 blocks through. So I think I still had about 3,000 blocks worth of railways to place, which, you know, is doable with enough grinding. I was chipping away at it as I was continuing to build this world. Unfortunately, that didn't go anywhere. So, some ideas for this section of the railway. I want to build another village over here, just to have a nice, like, I guess, neighboring village to Taran Ferry. I also wanted to build a big pirate ship over here, which would have been really cool. I think in that, there was a desert there, I believe, that we just passed. I think I wanted to build a sphinx there. Yeah, because I think my idea for this world, once I built this railway, was to sort of place builds along this railway. So that when you ride across it, you just see all of the stuff below you. There are all these stations for you to go on. The floating islands as well. The floating islands that you saw on the to-do list in the museum, they were supposed to be along this railway, just like hanging in the sky. Just a lot of really cool ideas. A lot of really cool ideas that I'm not going to be revisiting for this world. Anyway, so here is what I would consider the best build in this world. This right here is Winterhold, obviously named after the Winterhold College, or the College of Winterhold in Skyrim. It is the biggest build in this world, and it is the most, I think, the most cohesive. So, Winterhold is a large castle in the middle of this snowy field next to this large ice lake. We have a kind of strangely added railway going over here. Kind of connects to a like a tower that connects to the side of the building, which I think I kind of like. I like that it's really strangely placed. It almost makes it feel like Winterhold was built, and that at some point in the future they added this railway, which I think works really well. The railway was kind of incomplete. There's no real mechanism here for stopping. You have to punch the minecart in order to make it work. Then of course there's also no. I also wanted to add a map or something in order to make sense of the railway line. So yeah, First things first, let's go down into the Castletown section of Winterhold and give us a bit of a tour of how the townspeople live before going into the actual keep itself to show you what's inside there. Now, first of all, everything is surrounded by this stone wall. The reason I chose for regular stone instead of cobblestone is because I wanted Winterhold to have a kind of magic-y, unnatural feel to it. You know, normally when you see castle builds, they're always made of cobblestone to kind of simulate, I guess, bricks or something like that. But because this is supposed to be a more magical area, I decided to make it look like, I guess, the stone was molded magically or something like that. Let's quickly head to bed before showing you the whole town. So right now we are sleeping in the blacksmith's house. As you'll see, compared to the houses in Tarren Ferry, I think everything is a lot more efficient and a lot more cohesive. We have an interior and a size that is actually reasonably sized. The interior space is used a lot better. You have the stove here, you have a glitched furnace right here that has nothing in it but is constantly spouting fire to simulate like a hearth for keeping warm in this wintry landscape, and a kind of a simple shelf design over here. Upstairs, I'm just going to show you this attic and none of the other ones because they're all the same. The attic is empty, but you do get to see the furnace's pipe. Or the chimney, that's the word. The furnace's chimney sticking out from the top of the building. I'm really happy with this kind of house design. It's super duper simple, but I think it looks a lot nicer than the ones in Tarren Ferry. I think it makes more sense for the kind of place this is. It's also just it's just overall like an improvement. I think not a huge improvement, but just like a general just a general like upgrade for the kind of house that I'm building. To the left of the blacksmith's house, we obviously have the actual blacksmith's workshop. There's a huge shelves here, a big like crafting bench area for him to work on. This right here is supposed to be a barrel of water. Obviously I can't place buckets of water next to trapdoors because that's not how it works in this version of Minecraft. So I use lapis to simulate just a barrel of water for him to, you know, temper his iron, the swords or whatever he's making, and then just stick them into here to cool them down. This little thing is supposed to be the anvil. There's no anvil block in this version of the game, so this is kind of the best I could do. The lever is supposed to be a hammer, you know. It's kind of hard to tell that it's an anvil unless you really think about it. This is obviously the I guess the furnace where where the blacksmith, you know, tempers all the fire or whatever the right term is. And you can actually use these as real furnaces because there's a furnace block right behind the fire. This is the storage. Weirdly enough, this is, I think, the only example of, like, decorative chests that I actually filled with items. So you can see the iron ore and the iron ingots that the blacksmith smelted, which is very unusual. And these boats underneath are supposed to be, like, storage crates. So the idea was that, as you can see, the boat here is holding another hammer. This boat was inside of this block, so it kind of looked like there was just a bunch of, I guess, raw iron sitting in this crate, but it was pushed out since by the collision, which is unfortunate. To the let's go here. Right behind the blacksmith's house, we have yet another stables. So for any travelers that go through here, they go through outside through this long wintry landscape, and they ride it on their horse through these gates that I was too lazy to make out of redstone. They can stable their horses here. It's basically the same design as the stables you see in Deadbush, maybe with some slight variations, but the general gist of it stays the same. Once again, you see the same kind of grain bag design on the top here. And yeah. If you go outside, there is a, I guess, a little pasture for the horses to frolic in and to enjoy the grey but safe walls of Winterhold. Over here, right next to this really simple bench and tree design, we have a greenhouse. The greenhouse doesn't really function as a farm. It is like entirely decorative. It's all just pretend, you know, like we imagine. Oh yeah, the people of Winterhold, they have this is where they grow some of their pumpkins and their berries of whatever grows in these bushes. Again, the idea is that the people who live in the castle are mages, so we could say that this is where the mages get some of their like spell components for whatever spells they need. But yeah, it's I think it's a really nice, cozy greenhouse interior. It looks very stable. It looks really warm. You know, like you can almost feel the temperature change as you go from here all the way into here, which I think looks really cool. The rest of the town exists over here. We just have another residential building here that is I think an identical or near identical copy of the blacksmith's house, with the same empty attic on the top. And then we have this house, which is same design but a bit larger. It's L-shaped. There are bigger shelves, a bigger table, a bigger stove and kitchen section, stuff like that. This painting over here, it is just a painting. It is just meant to be a painting, I guess denoting that the person who lives here is a little bit richer and can afford a painting. But weirdly enough, whenever I go into here, it looks like a television. Like, to me, this looks like a TV mounted on the wall, which, honestly, I kind of like to think of this as a TV. Like, it's meant to be a painting, but the idea of just having a television in this medieval-ass town is really funny to me. So, you know, it depends on your imagination. This could be a painting, or it could be a television. I don't know. So to the left of this residential house, we have another bench and tree, and the frozen hearth. This is the tavern. This is the inn and tavern of Winterhold. It is also named after the actual tavern in the Skyrim Winterhold. The inn in Skyrim is called the Frozen Hearth. And entering here, I'm going to say that this is my favorite interior design of any building that I made. The first floor here, I think, is super cozy. I think it, as a tavern, as an inn, it looks really nice. I like these really basic but really nice paintings here. I like these little chairs with tables in front of them, and I am especially a big fan of this kitchen. I am super duper proud of this kitchen. I think this huge shelf of ingredients here looks really cool. I think these wardrobes with stoves on them, or not stoves, but I guess these wardrobes like cutting boards or something on top of them, look pretty cool. I like these storage chests over here, and this huge section of like stoves and more, I guess, grills or whatever these are supposed to be. I just think it looks really nice. I think it communicates the fact that it's a kitchen really well. And I'm especially a big fan of this big central like furnace system that they have here. I'm a big fan of this interior. I think it looks really nice. And through the side door here, you can see a bit of environmental storytelling. The side door here says staff only, guest entrance to the left. And there is a little snowy pathway here from people walking through here all the time, or through workers walking here all the time, going to the food storehouse. Because of course that you want the food storehouse to be connected to the inn, so the people inside the inn can actually cook the food. The actual food storehouse is completely empty. None of these chests have anything inside of them. They just look nice. They're just all completely decorative. Has 3 floors: top floor, ground floor, and the basement over here. So I guess this is where the food for the tavern is kept, which again I think looks really cool. I'm super proud of this interior. I love this tavern. It's probably one of my favorite just buildings in this whole Winterhold area. If not my favorite residential-ish building that I made in this world. I'm just super proud of it. If you can't tell, I really like building interiors. I think for some reason, interiors are my favorite thing to build in beta Minecraft. Like, it's strange. It's just fun to, like, optimize the space and use every single bit of room to, like, make something that looks somewhat realistic. It's just fun for me. The second floor here has more paintings, and this is supposed to be, I guess, an extension of the tavern bit of the tavern, where you can sit down, have a drink, look out the window, and maybe play some poker here or some other card game with some of the other travelers, perhaps. And of course, there are beds here. This inn would not be complete without some bedrooms for you to rent. And if you can't afford to rent those bedrooms, you can take the cheaper option in the loft. It is kept warm by this chimney over here that connects to the kitchen, and by this chimney that connects to the other hearth on the first floor. And yeah, so you have options here. Either if you have some gold on you, you can buy these premium rooms, or if you're a bit poor and you only have some silver or coppers on you, you might take the beds in the loft. Yeah. Anyway, obviously I get to sleep in the premium rooms, which we will sleep in before continuing on into the actual center point of this keep, and that is Winterhold. But before we do that, I should show you the wall. So obviously this whole town, this whole, I guess, castle town or keep is surrounded by a wall. It can be accessed by these stairs over here. And I'm just going to give you a quick look around to what the landscape looks like. Because, as I said, one of my issues with this world was that everything was kind of far away and you couldn't really see everything in one single glance. But I think this is one of the moments where the location of the build really, really adds to the build itself. I don't think the vibe of Winterhold would work nearly as well without all of this winter surrounding everything. Like, it just feels so surreal to have this endless snowy landscape with absolutely no people anywhere in sight, but then also have this really, like, in my opinion, homely and cozy town that's also bordered by this really kind of imposing castle. But it's also not too imposing because, like, the roofs are so colorful and there's almost something whimsical about it. I just think the whole build comes together really nice in this part of my world. I'm really proud of Winterhold. Just everything about it, the location, the town, the castle. Yeah, and speaking of the castle, let's show you its interior. So we'll start by going on the first floor. This is the first floor. The idea here is that the Keep of Winterhold is like a library for wizards to live in and to study magic. This section, the first floor, is the public library. So all of these books over here are meant to be books that the average traveler can just come in and borrow and read, right? There's nothing super duper arcane or dangerous about them, as magic books might be, dangerous or have some really, really bad spells in them. But anybody is welcome to just come to this section of the library, borrow some books, do some quick research, or even borrow, maybe there's some narrative books here. Maybe there is just some entertainment here for you to take with you when you go and stay in the Frozen Hearth. Who knows? Now, the actual part of the wizard library that is more wizardly and magical is here. This is the secret library, not the secret library, but the private library of the Wizards of Winterhold. It says here that there is no trespassing, and you can only go in there if you are qualified. Now, obviously, I made the goddamn place, so I'm qualified to go in there. So let's break in, and let's show you what the library inside looks like. Immediately, you'll see that it's a bit more magic because there are floating lanterns illuminating the actual interior of the library. But then its magical nature is revealed even more when you go inside and realize that, hold on a minute, it's a labyrinth. The Library of Winterhold that only the wizards can get to is a labyrinth, and I think that is really cool, if I do say so myself, as the guy who built it. My idea here is that the library, like the actual maze of the library, is enchanted, so that if anybody comes here who doesn't have permission to, just gets lost in the library and just wanders it for the rest of their life. It's very grim. That's why the wizards don't allow you to enter here, because you will get lost if you come into this library without permission. And that is why the wizards are only allowed in here, because they're the only ones who know their way. This interior is absolutely huge. It took so long to get all of these bookshelves, especially since I don't have an automated farm or anything like that. It took so long to just manually grow all of this sugarcane for these bookshelves. And it took a long while to grow out, not to grow out, but to build this really large interior and get all the stone for it and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it looks really cool. I really like the floating lanterns. I think it does have that sort of magical fantasy library feel. And yeah, and obviously I know my way. I'm allowed to be in the library. I know my way through it, so I just step through the back, just like that. Just some trivia about this build. My two options for name for it were either Winterhold from Skyrim or Candlekeep from the Forgotten Realms. I decided to go for Winterhold because even though Candlekeep might fit better in terms of it being like archives, for anybody who knows the Forgotten Realms, obviously the Candlekeep is like this fortress library place. Candlekeep does not exist in the middle of a wintry landscape, so I felt like Winterhold worked a little bit better. So, in the middle of the public library of Winterhold, there is a spiral staircase, and going up it, we go onto the second floor of Winterhold. So this is kind of the public area of the second floor. Obviously, it connects here to the railway that goes to Tarren Ferry in that direction and to Deadbush in that direction. Although, as I said before, as I said many times, the rails stop before they reach Deadbush. These four towers don't actually have anything in them. I kind of ran out of ideas on what to build inside once I was done here. Again, since this is supposed to be more public and residential, it is, I think, just fair to say that this is here for tourists to enjoy the view of and to go like, oh my god, I was a Winterhold, look at this beautiful tourist view that is advertised in the pamphlets and stuff like that. So yeah, every single tower here is identical, basically. Nothing too special about them. The interesting parts appear once we go into the private section of the second floor, and that is over here. So this is the wizard's abode. This is where that's a squid in there. That has never happened before. This is where the wizards live. Now, if you've played Skyrim and you've been to Winterhold, this specific section might be a little bit familiar. This is the only part of the whole build that actually resembles Winterhold. Again, it's only named after Winterhold. It's not actually based on Winterhold. That's how all the builds in this world function. But this really big, open, empty kind of square is, I think, really reminiscent of the big, empty square that we have in the middle of the College of Winterhold in Skyrim. If I have any screenshots, I'll just put them on the screen right now so that anybody who hasn't played Skyrim knows what I'm talking about. Super similar to that, right? It's just this big empty space that is surrounded by the residential parts of Winterhold. So let's go clockwise. Entering here, we have the abodes of the wizards. I'm only going to show one tower because they are all identical. Climbing up here, we enter the bedroom of one of the wizards. Obviously, these wizards are very not very materialistic. They all they need is a bed. Everything they have is in their books and in their minds. So they just need like a single bed that is warm enough to sleep in, and that is good enough for them. So yeah, every single tower except for one, which I will show you later, has that bedroom design at the top of it. So there's no point climbing each and every single one. Instead, I'm going to show you the floor where all this stuff actually is. So we have the kind of the private books of the wizards. I imagine none of these are actually that magical. I think they're almost probably just like research books for them to have on hand when they're doing their research. All the magical books will obviously be kept inside the maze library. This section of the building, this wing of their abode, I suppose, is probably where they dine. I imagine they just sit around here and then talk about their wizardly stuff while eating their wizardly food. That's another bedroom up there, and more private books here. This wing of their abode has, I guess, their spell components. The wizards aren't very neat. They just throw all their spell components in big piles here, and whenever they need to, cast a spell or create an incantation or a ritual or whatever, they just come here, take a big chunk of some pumpkin, some glowstone, some lapis or whatever, and then go and research their spells or something like that. Here we have yet another bedroom up there, and this is, I guess, the more private wizard study. I guess this is where the wizards stay when they need a little nook for them to really concentrate on. We've got some books on hand here for them to take with them and to always have just in their reach. Obviously, the wizards don't actually need to take them with their hands. They can just cast a spell to pull the book out and have it float over to them. Obviously, everybody knows wizards can do that. But yeah, that's what this kind of study section looks like. Again, yet another bedroom. And then going through this little, I guess, almost vestibule, kind of, we have this section of the tower. And climbing up here, this is the only tower in the wizard's abode that is not a bedroom. It is instead the secret books. The most secret books of all. These are the books the wizards keep on hand, and that only the wizards of Winterhold are allowed to access. They have the most dangerous spells, and the most secret magical secrets within them. And one of them is Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy, obviously. Anyway, yeah, basically I just ran out of things to put in there. I didn't want to put another bedroom in there, so I just put that saying, yeah, whatever. They just have really secret books up there. Whatever, who cares? Yeah. So that is Winterhold. I'm gonna go to bed now. That is, I think, the second last build that I have in this world. It's, I think, probably the build that I'm most proud of. It's really large. I think it's really it was the most ambitious, and I think I fulfilled that ambition. I love the way it looks. I love the atmosphere of it. It took me like maybe a month or two to build, which, yeah, I am really happy with Winterhold. I think it looks I think it's absolutely excellent. If there's anything in this world that I'm super proud of, it's Winterhold. Anyway, before I exit, I'm not actually going to take the railway here. Instead, I'm going to take the Nether Portal, because the Nether Portal in Winterhold has a very interesting quirk. It has a very interesting quirk that has a lot of, I suppose you could say, has a lot of lore implications for this world and for how Winterhold and the other places in this world connect. You'll also get to see Winterhold from the ground, from the side, which will be very exciting. So you kind of see, what I did with the walls here is that instead of having them follow the shape of the land, I made them like perfectly flat, and then had them, and then I also had them change height in order to keep the flatness at the top. I kind of like the really square and geometrical look this gives Winterhold as a castle. It's very unusual, I think, compared to a lot of the other castles you see in Minecraft, which tend to look a lot more, I guess, realistic. I think this looks a lot more like video gamey and geometric is the word I used, and I think it fits well. Yeah, it's very interesting looking castle, and it's yeah, I'm very proud of it. Very proud of it. Anyway, so this is the ruined tower. I think in the museum there was a sign that said that I should name this ruined tower something. I never found a name for it, unfortunately. Yeah, this is the nether portal that leads from Winterhold. And now what's interesting about this nether portal is when we go into it, instead of teleporting to a new place, instead, it teleports us to this nether portal. And once we get into this nether portal, we are going to appear in the wizard tower. Basically, there is a teleportation point straight from the ruined tower in Winterhold to the wizard tower in Tarren Ferry. It's really convenient. It means I don't have to take the train line to Tarren Ferry, or to the train line to Winterhold. It means I can just do that and appear straight here. It doesn't go the other way around, unfortunately. I can't go straight from this wizard tower to Winterhold. It's only like a one-way teleportation system. Which, yeah, it's a strange quirk. I don't know why exactly it happened. I think I should be far enough away from this nether portal for the one at Winterhold to not connect to it. So I don't know exactly why that happened. Yeah. Anyway, so there are just two more things for me to show you. I think I said one before, but that is not true. There are two more things for me to show you. And do I have a boat that I... No, I don't. Okay, I'll just make a boat. And both of them exist on the other side of the ocean. Well, not the ocean. It's not even really an ocean. It's more of just a sea, you know? You're about to see two things. You're about to see one, just my my sand pit where I collected all the sand, and two, you'll see the final build that I had in this world. So this glowstone obviously connects to the final build, but before we get to that, we are going to go to the sand pit. Now, if you've seen a sand pit before, you're probably not going to be too surprised by what you see there. I usually wouldn't show it in a world tour because it really is just like a sand pit where I dug out all the sand. But because this is the final like goodbye world tour, then I felt that I might as well show everything that I've got here, including all the stuff that is ugly and just exists for me to collect items in. I think one of my plans for the nuclear power plant next to Tarren Ferry was to add a sand duping machine there, just because I wanted that nuclear power plant to not only ruin the view, but also be useful as like a farm area for blocks and stuff. I think you can see it. Yeah, there it is. It's loading in right now. You can see that it used to be a beach, that I ruined the beach by taking on the sand. Taking on the sandstone as well. I think all the sandstone I used for the Lord's Manor and for the train station at Tarren Ferry was taken from here. Okay, so this is what the beach looks like. And then, oh wait. Okay, we're good. Okay. All right. So yeah, we have, what do we have here? Just have all this. You can just imagine how this beach used to go up here to this this hilly shape. And oh, there's a bed there. Wow. How cool, how cool. Okay. Well, I guess yeah, it's actually a lot smaller than I thought it was. Yeah, I did not collect that much sand in the sand pit at all. Wow. Got some random stuff here. Okay. Anyway, I guess that's like a nice little honorable mention before I show the final build that I did in this world. And I think that the final build that I made is probably better communicated with my first take that I did. So I'm just gonna play that right now, and then I'm gonna be straight back with here to wrap things up. I did that thing that a lot of other people do, where they go into like a different section of their world without any stuff and almost start a new world, like almost start completely anew without actually going in without actually making a new world. And so this build originated like that. I just went into a completely new place and I just started playing from scratch. I didn't actually travel that far because it is super close. But then about like maybe, oh, you can see the lighthouse. Wow, that actually looks pretty good. It actually fits really well as a lighthouse. But yeah, but then I played for like maybe an hour in that style of like playing for the first time again, like making a new world, but actually just moving into a new place, until eventually I realized that I just want to build something there. And so I abandoned the whole start a new idea, went back, grabbed all my tools, swam back, and just started building this build. Oh no. Oh no. The glowstone is supposed to lead to it. There's no glowstone. Did the whole build disappear? Oh no. No! Are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? What? It's all gone. It's all gone. All of it. What the hell? Oh, what? Oh, that's so annoying. That is so annoying. Are you actually kidding me? It's all gone. Oh, my boat is gone as well. Oh, it's all gone. Oh, that is so annoying. That is so annoying. That was the most recent build that I made in this world. The thing that used to be here, that was the thing. Is my boat actually just broken? Did it actually break? Oh, for God's sake. I don't have any wood on me either. Oh. The thing that was here was the final thing that I built on this world before it all went to shit. I do know for a fact that I have screenshots of this build, so I'm just gonna put those on the screen right now. You're gonna get a gist of what it looked like. Basically, this build was called Withy Woods. Withy Woods, named after the place from the Realm of the Elderlings series. It was kind of like a quaint, isolated garden full of like magical pumpkin lanterns and stuff like that. I was really proud of it. It was, again, the most recent build that I made, so in some ways it was the most advanced, and it just isn't here. It just completely disappeared. I'm actually in shock. I'm actually in shock. So yeah, that was the final thing that I built in this world, and unfortunately, it got deleted for some reason. Deleted in the recovery process. I hope you enjoyed my live reaction to finding that whole build missing. I've listened to that recording before. The despair in my voice and the disappointment in it is really palpable. You know, I could not have faked that if I tried. So that concludes my goodbye world tour for this world. The sun is setting. That is very appropriate considering I am ending this world tour and ending my relationship with this Minecraft world. Obviously, the fact that I have to, not have to, but the fact that I'm choosing to abandon it is, you know, quite sad. You know, I had a lot of good time on this world. I really enjoyed playing on it. it's the first time that I've been able to really commit to a Minecraft world for a long period of time, and you know, and unfortunately, stopping playing on it is really sad. However, as I said at the start of the video, I have not stopped playing this version of Minecraft. As soon as I realized I lost access to this world, I did make a new one, and I've been playing that, and I've been really enjoying it, and I already feel really committed to that world. So, and the reason that I'm kind of not too miffed about losing access to this world is because despite the fact that I think it's really nice and the fact that I had such a good time on it, I think there are a lot of things wrong with it, and there were a lot of mistakes that I made early on that I wish I hadn't. And my second world is sort of a chance to fix those mistakes and to start like on a stronger foot for the rest of the world to progress in a far smoother and far, I guess, more satisfying way. And yeah, I'll say, alongside making every build so far away, the other big mistake that I think I made with this world was not keeping a record of it. Right, it was the fact that I didn't really take many screenshots while playing. It was the fact that I didn't like the museum. I started like a year after I made the world, you know, stuff like that. And so my goal with the next world is to actually keep record of it. And the way I'm going to do that is by uploading more to this YouTube channel. So I'm not starting a Let's Play channel at all. Like that's, God knows there are enough Let's Play channels out there. Instead, what I'm going to do is whenever I finish a build on that world, I'm going to do a similar like world tour to this. It's going to be like a mini world tour where I just show for like 5 or 10 minutes what I had finished building. And every so often, maybe every week, maybe every few weeks, I'm just going to upload like a short little video saying, hey guys, here's a little world update, here are the things that I built over the past couple of days. Anyway, see you in the next one. That's going to be my sort of structure for that video, because, you know, I tried turning this into a Let's Play thing, and it just didn't work out. It was just too much effort. Didn't really feel worth it. But I think that I have enough time in my schedule to quickly record a small video updating a world and then uploading it. So, with that in mind, if you enjoyed this world tour and you want to see how my next world progresses, definitely subscribe and keep an eye out for when I upload that next, I guess, mini world tour. Again, it's not going to be very long. If you enjoy Minecraft, especially this version of the game, and you have 10 minutes to spare every so often, then, you know, definitely drop by whenever I update, whenever I upload an update for my next world, because it's gonna be, you know, it's nice to share progress, and it's also gonna be nice to keep track of my progression of that world, because, you know, the biggest regret I have for this world is the fact that I don't really have a very good idea of how it grew and how it progressed, and it would be nice to have like an archive of things showing how the world slowly grows. So yeah, I guess that's a pretty positive note to end the video on. I hope you enjoyed my world tour. I hope if you are so inclined to watch my next world, definitely keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Have a very good day or night or whatever it is you are doing right now. And once again, thank you for stopping by and taking a look at my farewell to this Minecraft world.